All right, we seem to be live. It's pretty unbelievable that we haven't live streamed on YouTube in the longest time ever, and then suddenly within 1 week's period, we're doing two of these impromptu live streams. Funnily enough, because of a franchise I haven't even played before. So the world is a funny thing. We're live stream on Twitch because, as you know, with live streaming on YouTube, companies can copyright claim you, and if you get a copyright claim when you live stream, you can't live stream. And YouTube doesn't do much about it. So we went to Twitch, the only platform on the internet that doesn't enforce their own rules. So it works. It works. So if you haven't joined us for a live stream, join us on Twitch over the weekend. We do anime games on Saturday, action and Western games on Sunday, and then we have anime reactions on Monday. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about SMT5, which is a game that you guys have mentioned more than once. It's something that's being mentioned sort of, I would say, as much as or more than Persona 5, which, as you can tell, you guys eventually got me into and I did enjoy. So I'm sort of getting a similar vibe with this one. That being said, with the number of games that are being requested, I sometimes have to nitpick a little bit and get a vibe check to see how many people are interested in watching it, because of course if we play one game, we're not playing another game. So decisions need to be made and hard calls need to be made. But whenever a new release comes out, it's always a good opportunity to play something new, something that's not very competitive, and also get into something that the community might be enjoying. Thankfully, we had Persona 5 Royale, we had Persona 5 Strikers, and now potentially we have SMT5. We also have the AI Somnium Files is getting a sequel, which we are already down for getting a review copy, possibly a couple of days prior to the official release. We also have Danganronpa S, which is coming out, same sort of thing. We might be getting a review copy a couple of days prior to release. Still ironing out the details, but we might be able to live stream it a night before the official release. We'll see, nothing official yet until I get a written confirmation I'm not doing shit. Funnily enough, same thing with Final Fantasy. We seem to be down for games coming from Square Enix as well, despite that little, thing we had with Square Enix when they released the game a week early in Australia. Good thing to know that we're on good terms, so things are looking up. But to loop it back to SMT5, I really have enjoyed this trailer so far. The story trailer I found very interesting. You could probably tell from the hour-long discussion, and I have read through pretty much every single comment everyone has posted on the channel regarding that. I thank you for that. I haven't been able to respond to all of them, just because some of them are a little similar in themes to all the other ones, but I have read them at the very least and responded to the ones that I could. That being said, it seems to be a game that might be up my alley, because I'm very much into mythology, history, the occult, all of the things. So it might be something that I'm interested in. At the same time, the story trailer seems to be set in a very interesting place. School kid goes to school. Next thing you know, he's gone to a different realm, and Dante is potentially canon. So they're definitely rubbing me the right way on that one. But they've also dropped this video, and I shit you not, I'm actually on the mailing list, and I'm one of the gamers and creators for a lot of these companies, and Atlas seems to be that company with absolutely no notice, sends an email not even 30 minutes before the live stream and says, by the way, we're releasing this in 30 minutes, hope to see you there. And I'm literally at work going, what the fuck? So typically companies will give us sometimes 2 weeks heads up, sometimes a week heads up, and then they'll tell us don't tell anyone until the day before, or don't tell anyone until we officially tweet it, at which point you're free to retweet it and talk about it. Atlas is like literally 30 minutes before they're live. By the way, we're live in 30 minutes. Fuck time zones, because fuck Australia. Apparently we don't exist, but anyway, it either goes our way or it doesn't. So they released this earlier today. Obviously I couldn't watch it straight away because I was at work. So we're watching it now, and I figured if I'm going to watch it, let's do it live, let's have a discussion. And at the same time, to make it interesting, since everyone keeps asking me if I'm going to be playing this game, I'll come to a decision by the end of this video and discussion. So get ready to make the sale if the video doesn't do it already. But I'm leaning more towards yes, because so far everything I'm seeing is good. That being said, let's not, call it. So let's enjoy it. Apparently this has subtitles. Apparently it was good. Let's see what they have to present. We'll have a little bit of a discussion, and then we'll make a call.
News Shin Megami Tensei V
Wow, they're taking this seriously. They've got a news network and everything. They've got the lady in the suit and... Wow. This looks... Yeah, this is like the national news in Japan. Wow, okay. Are they going to have like those talk show celebrities in the living room talking about it? Because... Okay. I did not expect this.
ニュースシン5のお時間です。この番組では株式会社アトラスから2021年11月11日に発売される任天堂スイッチ用 RPG 新女神転生5についての情報を私松澤千明がお伝えいたします。
Oh, Yakuza was a good name.
ニュースシン5、今日のトピックスはこちらです。
New characters, battlefield. Okay, okay.
では、
cool.
本日もお付き合いください。
SMT's big deal in
ニュー
Japan.
ス、
Oh,
新女神転生5。
mate. I've
先
spent a
日
lot
公
of time
開
in
された
Japan.
最新 PV はご覧いただけましたでしょうか。
Yes.
一つ目の話題はその PV にも登場した新たな登場人物のご紹介です。こちらの映像をご覧ください。新女神転生5、新たな登場人物を紹介。磯の神タオ。
それじゃあみんなで帰りましょう。私には子供の頃から霊力があってね、ベテルでは聖女って呼ばれてるの。最近ね、不思議な夢を何度も見るの。遠くから誰かが私のことを呼んでる声が聞こえてきて。
Oh, he has glasses. Serious business. You know, as soon as someone in a Japanese anime or game has glasses and he does that thing, he's the smart one. He's like the Uryu from Bleach. He has to be. He's the Byakuya from Danganronpa. It's always that thing. He's got glasses. That's his thing. It's the trope. I love it. You know exactly what you're getting with these type of characters. That's the one thing Japan does well. The West, whenever they do a character trope, it's too generic, whereas Japan is like, we're sticking to the trope, but we've changed it enough to make it interesting. By the way, I am reading a little bit of the comments, but I'm also paying attention to the video, and we will have a discussion as soon as it's done. I don't wanna take too much time, but I gotta point out that the trope is a real thing. I like it. I like it. It's a trope, but it's a good type of trope. It's not the bad type, you know? Like copy-paste characters that the Western movies and franchises do, where it's literally the same character and sometimes the same actor and actress actually playing the character. It's like the same character just in a different show with a different name. They don't even try to hide it. They just literally copy and paste some things. It's... yeah, no wonder the West is going downhill. But anyway.
Yeah, 君は一人か?
Wait, sorry, did he just say his name was Uryu? Because if he did, I swear to God. No, Yuzuru. Okay, close enough. Uryu, Uzuru, we're getting there. Are you as rich as Byakuya or no? How does it work? Because it's always going to be the rich kid that's smart with glasses, with sort of, the more short hair. Let me guess, you have a full six-pack and you're ripped, and one of the girls is really into you, but you don't give a shit about her. I don't know, it just seems to be going that way.
Yeah, 君は一人か? よかったら僕らと帰らないか? 僕ら家族は二人きりだ。それに兄が妹を守るのは当然だろ。僕らがトンネルに飲み込まれた後、東京に一体何が起こったんだ。
太宰一郎。
Alright, so we have our Ryuji, who's the Ryuji in Bleach. It's a thing at this point. Let me guess, he's surprisingly enthusiastic, he's loud, not the brightest tool in the shed, but he's always got your back. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go, cheerful guy. There we go.
このトンネルのあたりで化け物を見たという噂があります。あいて、天井すっごい低いわ。奥は暗いです。なんかヤバそう。俺落ちこぼれで、いつも人に迷惑ばかりかけてて。
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get over the fact that the MC is a guy. I thought that he was a girl. Yeah. If possible, can we play as a female? Because, I mean, I don't like the ratio in this group. 3 guys, it's a bit of a sausage fest.
でもそんな俺でも優等生みたいに人の役に立てるんならやってみたいんだ。
こんにちは先輩。
Okay, this freaks me out because at first I thought this was a guy, but now it sounds like a girl. It's like female Joker, let's face it. Female Joker that likes green. Okay, you're female Joker for Taba. You're like the 2-in-1. Man, I gotta be careful with these gender things, especially coming from Japan. I might get beat up next time I go there.
熱田宮津
I mean, you can see it, right? I mean, it just that moment. Like, when you see this and you don't have a voice or a name, I mean, my assumption wasn't that off. You know, like, you can't blame me for it.
先輩、お兄ちゃんの様子。
Great, little sister that has a thing for the MC. Okay, we're going there.
見てきてもらえませんか。いつも私だけ心配されてるけど、私だってお兄ちゃんのこと。
If that's the case, does this girl is then Anne, isn't she? Because she dresses so differently, and she seems to be a lot more confident than the rest. I mean, skirts. Well, mate, skirts are so popular in Japan. Everyone wears skirts there. I mean, hell, like even Hutchin's wearing a skirt in winter. She just wears skirts and tights, or like winter tights and a skirt. Like skirts are such a thing. And then they're like, "I'm cold," and I'm like, "You're wearing a skirt." I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "No wonder you're cold." It's like, okay, take a shot every time I say like. Mission: get rid of like by the end of the new year. Ooh, ooh. The brawler. So we've got, what's his name from Bleach? You know, the big muscly guy with the 2 arms. How are you still in high school? You look like you're 20. He looks 20. He looks like he should be in Super Smash Brothers. Just saying. He looks like he's about to throw someone in a volcano. Would you wear a skirt there? What am I? Ladybeard? Really? I mean, I said at 100k I will dress up as Junko Enoshima, but that's it. You gotta earn that. You gotta earn that. Even then, I'm gonna look more like Sakura-chan, because I don't know if you've seen my thighs, but those things are like a JoJo reference.
星水隼
私は小清水、ここの責任者であり、日本国内閣総理大臣だ。
You know what always gets me about Japanese politicians? They're more akin to criminals than anyone else. What's been exposed recently in Japan is how inept the government is and how little they actually care about the citizens, pushing vaccines which are causing people to die, and now people in Japan are protesting, refusing to take the vaccines because the government doesn't seem to give a shit about its own people. They just want to make sure that they get the Olympic Games going because it's a source of revenue. Funnily enough, half of the construction that was done for the Olympic Games, half of that money went straight into Yakuza pockets because the construction companies are actually run by them. Funny how that works. Half of the government branches, you know, half of their people there either go drinking or go to the kendo dojo after work. And who just so happens to be there? People from the police force and people from the Yakuza. Wow, that is not at all suspicious. And the construction companies that get the contract to build the infrastructure just so happen to be run by Yakuza. Who would have thought? Like, what are the odds? That's not at all suspicious. How could you say such a thing? Public servants, my ass. They're serving themselves first.
改めて我らの戦いに巻き込んだことを謝罪しよう。
What? Calm, collected, strategic? You're either an anti-hero or you're gonna betray us at the end.
ありがとう。君の勇気に感謝を。
ダートに迷い込み
He just offers them the program. Yeah, here's this program that I had in my pocket. Why not? It's like, oh, okay. That sounds legit. You don't look at all suspicious. You don't at all look 2-3 years older than us. You don't at all strike me as a potential spy within this school. But anyway, red flags aside, let's just go. The anime man talked with the next Yakuza member. He was an interesting video. I fought Yakuza. I've trained with Yakuzas. I've gone to a club run by Yakuzas. I saw the video. I looked at that guy's arms. I'm like, what's going on there, buddy? He's like, I get that you have tats, but you guys know that story from the World Tournament. You remember that Yakuza guy that tried to break the ice blocks and couldn't break it? You guys remember that story? You guys don't remember that story? All right, quickly. 1 minute version of that story. I'll give you a big 1 minute version of that story. World Tournament, Japan. Tokyo, Japan, World Tournament. You've got everyone competing. As you know, 2-3 Yakuza clans, their headquarters are actually dojos, believe it or not. Anyway, everyone from all around the world is coming in. You've got Russia, Iran, Ukraine, Australia, the US, UK, Canada. I'm talking the whole 9 yards. You've got the television stations, big cameras. I'm talking the big studio cameras on all corners. Anyway, as they do demonstrations throughout the day. You've got the main ring where everyone's fighting. It is amazing. I cannot describe the atmosphere. Fucking amazing. You've got the 4 cameras that are on the corners, and you've got the judge official table, which is pretty much looking at it. So you have people doing demonstrations. You've got weapons demonstrations, swords, nunchucks, spears, cutters. You've got people jumping around. Then they do things like, tile breaking, when they stack up the tiles and they break them. They've got the wood things and then they break them. It's all really cool. There's a lot of hype. The Japanese TV stations are filming it. They're doing the slow-mo shots. It's really cool. And you've pretty much got a few Yakuza clans there and a couple of bosses there because, as you know, a couple of bosses are, pretty high members in the martial arts community. And as you know, those sort of organizations, they tend to like physical, sports, right? Which is cool. Anyway, at the beginning of the tournament, we have Hanchi that's running Oceania. You've got the guy that's running the US, and you've got the guy that's running the sort of Asia part of Japan. And they're sort of the 3 people in charge, but you've got the guy that's running Japan. So, seniority-wise, he's kind of in charge, but these guys are all, students together that are all friends. Anyway, you've got all the other officials that come in, and you've got the 2 Yakuza clans that come in. So pretty much you got this Japanese guy, and this is all in Japanese, by the way, so the translation is not perfect because my Japanese is shit, but from what I can understand, he pretty much walks up to these Yakuza bosses, and he pretty much looks at one of them is like, you and your team over there on that corner, you and that team over there. When it comes time to fight, they come, they bow, they fight. When the fight is done, they stop, they bow, they leave. They break any rules, both your teams are disqualified. Understood? And he's talking to Yakuza bosses. Yakuza boss, like fucking high up in the hierarchy here, right? And they're both, of course, right? What you do outside, you do outside. We don't give a shit. What you do inside, you're not only representing your clan, but you're also representing all the organizations, and the video cameras are here. Don't cause shit, right? It's fairly simple. And in hindsight, I didn't even know some of these guys were until I actually saw the tats. Nicest guys you'll meet in the world, just don't piss them off. They're some of the nicest guys you'll meet in the world, trust me. Just don't piss them off. Don't piss them off. But, that can be really nice. Like, really nice. That's, I learn a lot of things. You can't judge people by, these sort of things. You've got people that are criminals that are good people, and you've got people that are not criminals that are bad people. I no longer judge people based on that sole thing, but, that's another story. Anyway, during the demonstration, we had all these breakings, tile breaks, and, it's all well and good. Then they start bringing out these massive blocks of ice. I'm talking like this. This thing must weigh 100 kilos, 150 kilos a piece. They put an ice block down. They put a piece of wood, another ice block down, another piece of wood, another ice block. You literally have to climb up like these little makeshift steps in order to get to the top. And I'm sort of sitting there and I'm looking at them going, holy shit. Anyway, my senpai, she's fucking amazing. And she's like, yeah, someone's going to break that. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, shit. He's like, yeah, this is the real deal. Anyway, this massive guy, and when I say massive, I'm a big boy, all right? I'm 181 and I weigh 120 kilos. I'm a big boy, but when I say massive, I mean fucking massive. I'm talking, this guy looks like he can finish the whole cow on his own. Massive, muscly, short hair, big shoulders, big arms, he's wearing everything. Anyway, he takes off his top. He takes off his gi. He's just wearing his white karate pants. He's got his belt. He's I think he was 3rd or 4th Dan. So, you know, he's pretty high. He's above sensei rank. And then you see his tats. He's got the back tattoos. He's got the sleeve here. And he's got the roses. He's got the flowers on his arms. And every single one of those flowers is pretty much for a person that he's killed. So this guy's, you know, I don't know whether he's an enforcer or a hitman, but, you know, he's showing off his tats. And he took off his gi in front of everyone, right? So he's making a statement here. Anyway, he walks up here and he's looking in front of those big ice blocks. And I'm going, shit. Because I see his muscles, I see his shoulders, I see his chest, I see his gut, and I'm just going, shit. Like, this is a big boy. Like, big by my standards. Like, massive. Like, I would not want to bump into him. Anyway, you know, he's doing the thing, he's prepping it. And I swear, I don't know whether it's my brain playing tricks on me or not, but in the last second, just before hitting that block, I saw a little bit of a flinch. He hits it. Doesn't break. You see him hit it, but he didn't keep the momentum going. As you know, anything when it comes to breaking, which is why they make it mandatory as part of the black belt, the whole Shodan grading, it's less about physical force and more about the mental. If your momentum is going through the object, you'll break through it. If you hesitate or you stop, you will break your hand, you will break your fist, you will break yourself. I'm pretty sure he broke his hand. And you just sort of hear that. The whole stadium is silent. You could hear a pin drop. You could hear a fucking pin drop. There's hundreds of people, probably close to 1,000 people. There should be an echo. You could hear a pin drop. No one moves. And I sort of just look at my senpai and I'm like, so what happens now? And she doesn't even bat an eye. She's just looking there, just like, he has to break it. And I'm just going, oh shit. Anyway, attempt 2. He didn't hit here, he sort of hit here. That thing ain't gonna break. He hits it. You know, at that point everyone's just going, uh-oh. Attempt 3. He hits here. And it's just like, and I'm just sort of thinking, someone should stop this. But I'm also at the back of my mind thinking, you just took off your gear and you were showing off your tats to a bunch of other clans. And you just, you know what I mean? You just, you know. Anyway, I shit you not. This little guy and all the officials on the officials table wear, you know, the full formal suits with the multiple buttons, the red ties, the white business shirts. It doesn't matter that it's 40 degrees in there. It's hot and sweaty. They're dressed up properly. This little guy, the smallest guy on the table, no hair on him. He must have been 160 centimeters. He doesn't look like he weighs more than 50, 60 kilos. He gets up from the official table. He walks all the way around the ring. Basically goes all the way up those little stairs. He stands next to the guys like this. He just motions him. The guy just moves out of the way. Old guy takes off his blazer, rolls up his sleeves, gets up with his fist, BAM! Breaks through all the ice blocks. I just gotta say this. I've seen some of the new Yakuza guys, but they ain't got shit on the oldies. Those oldies will fuck you up. They're tough as nails. They're tough as fucking nails. So yeah, I've seen the big boys. I've seen, you know, the more sleek ones that jump and do the head kicks and everything. I fought one, I fought the other, but the oldies, they're the ones that scare me. Forget the young guys. That fucking old guy that's got the respect of the entire clan, he's the one that scares me. Not the guy showing off his tats and muscles. Fuck that. Fuck that, you know? That quiet old guy. Man, be careful of an old person in an occupation where people die young. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. So there's a lot of Yakuza in Japan. You know, there's a lot of Yakuza. I was walking through, I think it was Shinjuku, and there was this, this was this big chunky guy, and he was wearing cargo shorts, and there was this guy next to him, and they had, the whole hair and the smoking, and everyone's walking around them, and I'm like, I don't give a shit, I just walked right next to him. And the guy's like making some noise or something, and I just look at him, I just give him a glare, and the guy just like looks at me, and I don't know if you've ever been in that thing, but you've got, that whole thing where people look at each other, and they usually have that thing like, I'm not gonna blink, I'm gonna stare. And I just basically go, and I turn around and keep walking. Guy didn't follow me. A lot of these young guys, these entry-level street guys, they ain't got shit on the guys up there, man. Those guys up there, you won't pick them. You won't pick him. There was a guy, he visited Sydney, and you wouldn't pick it. He was training normally, fighting. And, I sparred with him at the end of training, and you always do sparring. And he was hitting like a brick. I mean, he's not that tall. He's not that heavy, but he's got the technique and the speed, and he knows how to, at an inch, he knows how to hit. And I was like, shit, you can fight. And so I sort of had a chat with him afterwards. And, when you're talking, he's like, all right, you have to go get changed. We go get changed. I'm taking off my uniform. He's taking off his. He takes off his ski. He had the fucking tats. And I'm like, whoa, that's an awesome tattoo. And he was telling me about it, and he was showing me what everything means. And I'm like, hope you don't mind me asking, but you wouldn't happen to be affiliated? And he's like, I am. I'm like, whoa, shit. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm just like, shit. And then he told me the story when they were running the first tournament here in Australia for our martial art. And they came from Japan. And they literally bought like cash. And when they turned up, they literally just brought the cash and gave it to our teacher. And then was like, you're not paying for this. He's like, I can't take your money. He's like, no, you're not paying for this. It's like, as a sign of respect, you're not paying for this. You're not paying for any of this. And I'm just sort of going, wow. Like the oldies have this philosophy, this aura, this way of working, this way of thinking, this way of respect. And it's something very admirable. It's something that you can really look up to, They had a creed. They had a code. They had something they lived to. They had something they aspired to. And unfortunately, the vibe that I get from a lot of the young guys, particularly the street level guys, is that they aren't that. They definitely aren't that. These old guys, when the tsunami happened or where there was tragedy or something, they responded quicker than the government or, the fire departments or the ambulances or anything like that. They actually, went on the street, were helping people, giving first aid, giving supplies, sheltering people. They did it. They kept to that very old school helping the community, being a part of the community, because these organizations developed at a time where there wasn't very much enforcement in Japan. So naturally, a little bit like the, Italian one and sometimes the Russian one, they develop in these communities to provide these functions that aren't available to the regular citizen or the migrant as a result of lack of government. But they kept to this whole principle of they looked after their communities, whereas I found that a lot of the younger guys are more kind of like, and I've got to be careful with my words here, but they're less concerned about the well-being of the community and more so concerned with the well-being of themselves. So it's a very different thing. The oldies, you will find that they're very well respected in high places for a lot of good reasons, whereas the younger guys are more notorious, but they burn out a lot quicker. So, yeah. But by all means, I'm sure an ex-Yakuza is a cool person to talk to, but if you want cool people to talk to, try to get your hands on one of the oldies. And all it's going to take is a little bit of respect and keeping his beer glass full. Just keep pouring beer, keep his drink full, and he might tell you a story or two. So, it's just be very nice and behave and keep your mouth shut and don't say anything stupid. But not bad guys. Not bad guys. Not bad guys at all. Just don't piss them off. Just don't piss them off. Don't piss them off. Just be very careful. But the clubs that they have, fuck. The bars that they have, man. The whole wall had liquor. And I'm not talking entry level. I'm talking fucking 18-year vintage, Grange, Man, there was like 3 dozen bottles of vodka. Don't get me started on the girls. But anyway, let's continue. Let's not get distracted. I must never know. Let's continue.
頂上の力を手にした主人公。無事元の東京へ
Whoa,
戻った
whoa,
主人
whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck? What's this guy doing? Jetstream Sam, anyone? This guy is not in high school. Look at him. He's like 1.5 feet taller than all of them. And he's built like, you know, he is not in high school. That is bullshit. The old guys probably joined to actually fight and to live by a code as proud Yakuzas, whereas the new kids are just thugs looking to gang up on weaker ones and look strong. Pretty much. Pretty much. And it's unfortunately something that happens all across the board. You know, Slavs and unfortunately bikies and all these other ones are no exception. Hell, did you know that a lot of the new bikies, particularly here in Australia, can't even ride a bike? They don't even know how to ride a bike. The old school bikies came back from, you know, Vietnam and whatnot, were Air Force pilots, and they wanted to get some of that adrenaline back in their daily lives. So they got big bikes and like to ride really quickly on the open roads. Fair enough, I can respect that. Whereas the young guys can't even ride a bike. That's just false advertisement, man.
主人公は悪魔に対抗する組織ベテルの一員となり、同級生と共に東京を守る決意をします。
Very interesting eye style.
そんな中、悪魔たち
Okay,
が
this thing
学
creeps
園
me
を
the fuck
襲
out. What
撃。
the hell is that
主
shit?
人公たちは生徒たちを守ることができるのでしょうか。
Am I the only one that feels uncomfortable
もう
looking
一
at
つの
that?
東京、ダートで目覚めた伝説の悪魔の狙いとは。新たな登場人物紹介映像をご覧いただきました。どのようなドラマが繰り広げられるのか楽しみです
They're
ね。
taking this seriously. Even the sounds is freaking news channel.
続いて
I love
は
it.
今作のバトルでの新要素のご紹介です。こちらの映像をご覧ください。新女神転生5バトルの新要素マガツヒスキル。
I'm sorry, but when you say Prime Minister, I am expecting Armstrong. I am expecting some big chunky guy that's going to do the whole, you know, sumo wrestler thing and beat the shit out of the demons and make Japan great again.
プレスターンバトル中、味方の行動によりマガツヒゲージが溜まっていきます。
I heard that they censored some of the sprites in this game.
ゲージがマックスになると
Because, you know,
特
the
殊な
West.
技マガツヒスキルが使用可能に。マガツヒスキルには大ダメージを与えることができる攻撃や補助、回復などさまざまな効果を発揮するものがあります。また敵もマガツヒゲージを貯めた強力な攻撃を行ってくることがあるので注意が必要です。
We played that before.
マ
We
ガツヒ
played
スキルを
You're
効
right.
果的に使い、より戦略性の広がった本作のバトルを楽しみましょう。
So, from what I'm
新たなバ
saying,
トル
it's a step up from the Pokemon style weakness system that they use in Persona, and you seem to get rewarded in this game to target the weaknesses rather than just the attack being super effective, but you can actually compound it by chaining it, which just incrementally keeps doing more and more damage. So, you know, hitting it till it dies might not be the best strategy for this type of game, whereas you can get away with it in Persona because, you know, let's face it.
の要素マガツヒスキルについてご覧いただきました。さらに進化したプレスターンバトルを楽しめそうですね。
Press turn battle. So is that like staggering in Final
新
Fantasy?
女神転生5では皆様からのメッセージを募集しております。この番組でも画面下にて寄せられたメッセージをご紹介
Is
し
it
てまいり
YouTube
ました。
comments? Oh god, please be YouTube
ここで
comments.
一通質問メッセージをいただきましたのでご紹介させていただきます。ミックスバスさんよりいただいたメッセージです。
It's not even a screenshot. They censored it. I like that. I like that. It's just, imagine if it was like the most popular message and someone just said something really random and inappropriate. It would just be beautiful. Ah, what am I expecting?
発売決定おめでとう
Of
ござ
course
い
they
ます。
picked this one.
質問ですが、新 3HD リマスターのような経験値稼ぎや真っ赤稼ぎのような DLC エリアは配信予定はありますか？ とのことです。
How did they fit that into one
はい、
tweet though?
こちら経験値稼ぎや真っ赤稼ぎ系のダウンロードコンテンツ配信を予定してございます。ダウンロードコンテンツの詳細情報は続報にて公開させていただきますので、どうぞお見逃しなく。
Please tell me there's story content.
引き続き新女神転生5ではメッセージを募集しております。皆様からのご
Ask
投稿お
SMT5.
待ちしておりま
Let's
す。
do it.
ここで新女神転生5の関連情報をお知らせいたします。
She's taking her job
こ
very
ちらをご
seriously.
覧ください。
What's going on here? See, in the artwork, he looks a lot more masculine. Purchasing. Man, do you guys remember back in the day where you had to actually purchase guides that were like thick books? Not that I ever did, but you can actually buy them. The walkthroughs that you would literally buy. Or you can get them on like gamefax.com or something. Now it's just YouTube videos. Kuma, do you forget how polite and proper I am in my messages? For the Western world, yes. By Japanese standards, you're too casual. Japanese standards are just insane. How are you supposed to even do that? Ooh, 35th anniversary. That's cool. What? IF. Is that like an IF scenario if this happens? Similar to Danganronpa and 0? Ooh, the Hee-Ho. I love it. The little Mars. So good. They were planning 3, but they figured why not a 4th? Oh, lottery tickets. Lottery tickets for that? Okay.
以上、メッセージのご紹介とお知らせでした。ニュース新5お別れのお時間となってまいりました。本日ご紹介した内容は新女神転生5公式サイトでもお楽しみいただけます。先日公開された新たな PV と合わせてお楽しみください。ニュース新5ではこれからも定期的に最新ニュースをお届けしてまいります。次回は8月下旬頃の配信を予定しております。それではまた次回お会いいたしましょう。今後ともよろしく。新女神転生5 2021年11月11日発売。
November 11th. And then you've got Danganronpa coming out December 3rd. Oh man, this game is definitely going to take more than a month. Jesus. Does any... Okay, so SMT games, when it comes to story length, what are we talking about? Are we talking 50 hours? Are we talking 100 hours? When are you going to play Teletubbies the game? What? What? I never even watched Teletubbies ever, let alone play the game. I feel weird for buying SNES cart out of SMT IF from China. November 12th for US. Ah, yeah, so does Japan get it a month early? If that's the case, watch out for spoilers. One thing about Japan as a whole, they take their games very serious. And I'm not just talking about places like, say, Akihabara. I feel that place is a little bit overrated, but don't shoot me for that one. But across the board, when you go anywhere where there's a sort of like Sega building that has 12 or so floors dedicated to games and merchandise and things like that, and the posters on the outside and the advertisements on the buildings, on the trains and things like that, they just go next level. They take it seriously. When they have promotional events, they take it seriously. What we do here in the West in particular is kind of a joke. You get the occasional video game company that commissions, you know, a mural to be painted on a wall for 2 weeks, or they might hire some bus decals to be put, or, you know, they used to get a television ad once or twice. They don't do it anymore. But what they do in the West pales in comparison to what they do in Japan. In Japan, they have full-out mascots handing out drinks. They have snacks, drinks, food. Everyone gets in on it. Domino's gets in on it. You know, the curry places get in on it. Like, I shit you not, every single time I was in Japan, and I've been a dozen times, every single time these restaurant places would have promotions either for Dragon Ball, the movie, where you can, eat curries that are themed after what Goku would eat, which is bullshit because there wasn't enough curry. I was still hungry after it, and you would get trading cards, collectibles, little figurines, even McDonald's. It's just nuts compared to what they do here in the West. So I can only imagine what they're doing for SMT right now, because when you walk down the street where they're selling any games or something like that, they have the trailers running. They have like the cutout posters around the games. When I was there, they still had like Nier Automata stuff, even though it was 1.5 years after it released, 2 years after it released. They still had all the promotional material, the art, the figurines, all that stuff. Especially if you go to the arcades. It's nuts. We have nothing here in the West. Okay, 20-30 hours. Storyline. Huh. That's not as long as I thought. I spent 230 hours for 2 SMT4 endings. Right. You guys actually mentioned that it does have multiple endings. So a playthrough is about 20-30 hours. If you're taking your time and enjoying it, I'm going to say 40-50 hours. Depends. SMT4 can be done in 24 hours, while something like Nocturne is around 50. By going by your Persona 5 playthrough, you double the normal playtime. That's if it has character free time interaction events. That's the only thing that took me double the time, because I like to talk about the characters, explore their psychology, and all these other things. If that exists in the game, you can easily add a lot of hours. If that doesn't exist and it's just core gameplay with storyline and cinematics and whatnot, that goes down dramatically. SMT is massive in Japan. Oh yeah, no, it is. I mean, I was in Japan before I even knew what Persona was, but it was, yes, Jack Frost is a thing, as are the other ones. The game is probably 60 hours. 60 hours is not bad. They take pride in the games. Oh man, they take them seriously. Mascots in particular, they take them seriously. SMT is the specific game that gave birth to the Persona series. Yeah, I know. Persona is a spin-off from SMT, same way that Devil May Cry is a spin-off from Resident Evil. Spun off from 4. SMT don't really have character introduction events like Persona games. So they just sort of throw you into the deep end and you start swimming. No, it's... from everything involved, from everything that everyone said in the comments, everything I'm seeing in the trailers and all this sort of thing, it definitely has curiosity, and it definitely seems to have a slightly darker tone than Persona. Persona is very much if you look at the Persona promotional art and the videos, it's all about, yeah, we're gonna kick ass and take names, we're gonna do it with the power of friendship. Whereas SMT is more like, well, the world's going to absolute shit. If you have the balls, come help us. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool, By the way, SMT IF is basically Persona 0. So that's the thing. From my understanding, from what people said, if the apocalypse happened, you get SMT. If the apocalypse didn't happen, you get Persona. If an old SMT game that never got outside of Japan is a reimagining of the second SMT game and is literally Persona 0, since the Persona series starts from that. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Side quests can increase playtime immensely, and philosophy is a big part of it. What's really going to take me time is when we start finding different deities and we start talking about that sort of thing, because that really tickles my fancy. But a big part of it is also when you say side quests and whatnot, does that actually give you story, or is that like a fetch quest? Go get me 12 of these and I give you XP. Go kill 10 of these and I give you XP. Because if that's just grindy. I'm not into that. But if it's a quest that sort of develops a character or gives you a story, then I'm into that, if you get what I mean. SMT is more of a world-based story, and it's more dark, mature, discussing very interesting topics. When you say world-based, is it still going to be a bit linear like Persona, in that you have a little bit of freedom of how you do things, but you still have to do them in a certain order? Or are we talking about like day-to-day things where until you actually do something, it's not going to trigger a certain event? So you sort of have, you can go around, school and fuck around for as long as you want, or you can do certain little things and fuck around as much as you want, but until you do a certain thing, it's not going to trigger an event that progresses the story and then moves you on to another section. That's what I'm curious about. Because Persona was very, you spend half your day doing this, you spend the other half a day doing that, and time is logically progressing that way. What I'm basically asking is a bit like Pokemon, in the sense that I could go up and down as much as I want, but in order to progress the story, I have to do certain things. The Digital Devil Story, Megami Tensei novels. The first Mega 10 game was a licensed game, can be read in like. The choices you make can drastically affect the journey of the story. Yeah, I was told about that too. And it's not just you get a different ending at the end, but it actually changes the type of enemies you encounter in the dungeons. But the dungeons might be the same. There's no time management stuff. Okay, that partially answers my question. Because time management stuff sometimes annoys me. Just because I sometimes like to finish all the things before I continue, and sometimes I like to just continue, but I don't like the game forcing me to do it within a certain time frame, because then it forces me to try to balance everything, and then you get the pressure, and you don't want to miss out, and then you get stressed, and then all this other stuff. SMT doesn't tend to hold your hand much at all. I played Pokemon without being able to read English. I did that whole cave without HM Flash. I think I'll be fine. It's more about what you want the world to be reborn and why you want that. What is this? Some end of Evangelion stuff? I want the world to be reborn. Who says I want the world to be reborn? I'm just there for the lols. Let's talk about Mara for an hour. Let's not do that again. That was traumatic enough the first time, particularly considering that is the Tower Arcana and the Tower... What's it called? Confidant is a little boy. What am I, a Catholic priest? Would you consider putting Catherine on the next poll? You could probably finish it in 2 streams, so I think it would be nice to get off your plate before starting another game. No new games are going on the vote, particularly older ones, until the backlog gets shorter. That's why. Mate, people had the opportunity to vote for Catherine and they voted for Persona instead. And now they're like, but we're never going to finish. I'm like, then why'd you vote for Persona? You should have just voted for Catherine. What were you guys thinking? A side quest has focus on a specific demon or set of demon lore, and they add to the world and lore around them, and a game like Nocturne doesn't really have side quests but an optimal dungeon. See, I like that. Adds a demon and set of demon lore. I like that. I like that. I like that. That would definitely tickle my fancy. Especially considering they hinted that Lucifer's going to be in this one. And I sort of like that whole thing. I don't know if you watch Supernatural, but that's kind of an awesome show. That would be awesome. Okay, so 20, 30 hours, it's not too long. That's good. You're not forced to do multiple playthroughs to get all the endings. That's another good point. It doesn't have repetitive grinding from what I'm being told, and I like how they did 1-1, 1-1, 2-1. And it also just gives you extra sort of story for every side piece of content that you do, but it's not mandatory, which is good. So if I'm not interested in a particular demon or mythology or whatever, I don't have to do it. I just do the ones I want. Funny enough, every mainline SMT game starts with a world ending. I mean, good point. After a while, it would come as a shock if the world's not ending. Who would pick Catherine over Persona? It's choosing an 8-hour game over a 50+ hour game. It's simple tactics. You get the short one out of the way first, and then you pick the big one. Because Persona has literally taken up more than a year of live streaming. I mean, simple math. If we choose Catherine, we didn't know you would play Persona. But we vote on games every time we finish one. I mean, what are you guys talking about? You guys just had poor planning and now it's biting you in the butts. SMT4 doesn't start with a world ending. And in 2, it's already destroyed. I'm not going to ask because that would just confuse me. Alright, 30 hours. Let me do a quick calculator. Let me do a quick calculator. Because I'm bad at math. So let's say 40 hours. And say on average we do that. That's 10 streams if it's 40 hours at 4-hour live streams. We usually do 5 hours. That makes it 8. 8 streams. It's like what? Almost 2 months? November, December, gets it up to January. I mean, it's not too long. It's not too long. And from what you guys said, it doesn't have that confidant grinding that we did. So it's not going to end up taking me 100 hours. It's just going to give me the story. and I either do the side missions for the particular characters that I want to or I don't. So it's completely up to me. You could have put Persona 5 on a massive waiting list and we would have waited years before you played it. Persona 5 was on a waiting list. Because when I bought it, Persona 5 Royale was announced. And then I said we would play it on launch. And then there was this whole massive window until Persona 5 Royale where things were getting voted in left, right, center, and everywhere. And Catherine simply didn't win. So I don't know why people are going to me. You guys were voting for the games. Don't look at me, guys. You made your choices. Even Undertale won. All of the things won. You know, like, don't look at me, guys. You guys voted. Why are you looking at me? You made your decisions. Now you're living with them. In SMT games, you can't just hit it till it dies. That definitely will not work in this game. I'm going to try it at least once. So let's give it a crack. Let's grab it on launch. Let's play it. Do I have someone at Atlas? No, I don't. I tried reaching out to someone from Atlas. They didn't respond. It was like the Atlas Western media manager that was recommended to me, but they simply don't respond to their messages. So it's like, ugh. So if anyone knows someone from Atlas I should get in touch with, please send me a message or put it in the comment or hit me up on Discord. All right, let's try this game on launch. It shouldn't take more than 2 months. It's new. People keep mentioning it. So let's give it a crack. Let's see what it's all about. Let's see how enjoyable it is. And let's go from there. It doesn't seem to be like as long as Persona 5, so we should be perfectly fine. If it's good, good. If not, low risk. Let's do it. Let's give it a crack on launch. Let's do it on launch. So is it coming out in the West on the 11th? Is it? Is it coming out on the 16th? We'll figure out the finer details. Sent you a video on the reaction quest called "What is and isn't SMT." Let's not do any summaries. Let's not do anything like that. You only get to do a blind reaction once, so let's leave it blind when it comes to the story. Let's give it a crack. Let's see what it's all about. And go from there. Let's do that. Let's do that. That won't be bad. That'll be a good plan. Okay, so we have something for November. Hopefully, we might end up having Danganronpa and SMT side by side, so we're going to have to finish up the action game, whatever it is, by December, which should be okay. Action games aren't that long, so it should be okay. 11th would be Thursday. Thursday's not bad. Thursday I can stream in the evening. Thursday I could probably take a day off. I could probably take off Thursday, Friday from work and stream the shit out of it in 2 days. And then stream it Saturday as well, because that's the anime slot. That will give me 1, 2, 3 streams. It's coming 12th. November 12th. Yeah, but it comes out November 12th in the West. I'm 1 day ahead of everyone, so I get it at the same time as Japan. Japan gets it on the 11th. I literally get it 1 hour later. So for me, it's 23 hours ahead in Australia. So when they get it on the 11th, I'm already going to be in the 12th, 1 hour later. So I literally get it 1 hour after Japan. Welcome to the West. If they don't fuck up distribution and I get it 1 week early. Like we did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Good times. Good times. All right, let's play it on launch. Let's see how it goes. Let's get an official launch date. I'm going to get in touch with the store, see about a pre-order, see when they're officially going to get it. They're the ones that got Persona 5 Royale as well as Final Fantasy before launch. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on this prior to the global release launch. And let's see what's going on. All right, let's do that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the information. I will see you guys there. Do you think the meme stream will happen before the end of the summer or the end of the year? I don't know what season it is where you're from, but it really depends on if we end up having like a slot in between a release or something that's about a week or two, that's when those little meme streams happen. If not, not really. They happen once in a blue moon, but I'll keep you posted. I always do a few little tweets and little things like that. All right, cool. Let's do it. Thank you guys for all the comments. I appreciate it. You made a good sale. It's a good thing that they take these launches very seriously. It's a very good thing that the story trailer was good. It's a very good thing that it seems very memeable. So let's do it. And I am wearing this little thing because I didn't shave for so long. So if I spike my hair with this, I look a bit weird. So I'm just wearing this and looking a bit weird. Maybe I should put on my sunglasses. Do I have my sunglasses here? No, I don't. But I had a little bit of fun with that. Remember, the best SMT game is Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy. What? What? All I have is Jack Frost. I have Hee-Ho in the chat. That is all. That is all. Okay, guys. I'll see you later. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord while I continue uploading videos till this weekend, which is actually 2 days away. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good times ahead. I'll see you guys on the live streams on Twitch. Till then, Ninja Kuma out. Bye.